Hey everybody, Everett's live music, and nobody for the most part because I don't have really any followers, but I'm going to keep going with this, and you know why? Because there are some specialists and some scientists and different people around the planet that are supporting facts that they have found. And then they're telling us as a people we need to recognize what's happening, so we try to do that, right? That's what I've tried to do. I want to at least say I tried something. I put a lot of words together in my songs and stuff that didn't go over for as well as, and maybe it will still. I just don't. It's not an exact thing that happens. I imagine for one degree or another, and then a lot of the time it's kind of wild, man. When I'm out playing, sometimes like in the park or something. Nowadays in a park, so many people are butted out. You know. How many people have ever gone into like a room and just started talking to someone and they're laying there like your kid or something and they're just like not even looking at you. You're talking and they haven't noticed you yet and they're just like looking at the thing and you're like, are they that in a trance? And then you're like, oh, after the first couple of times, hey. And then they do and you're like, oh, you're butted out. You butted me out. Oh. Anyway, the rest of the conversation. It's a funny moment, man. I think it is. It's pretty funny. You're budding out. But that happens a lot now. Like when I go out and play in the park and stuff, you see it more these days. It's kind of like the changing with the times. No, it's not everybody, but quite a few people at times. Shout out for that stuff, and then I get out there. I haven't been out as much. I did play for the for Wildlife Day, World Wildlife Day. I picked up a couple bucks, actually. I haven't picked up that in a while. And I only made a few, but, just something. I got out there. I tried for days, in a few different places just to share a message because I strongly support it. Wildlife and the way of life that we live, where we ignore what, in many conversations and on many different topics, it's left out what has happened to nature along the endless conquest of this planet by the human race and our expansion of us and our industrialization and all of those things that are applauded along the way that actually have caused quite a bit of the problems we're experiencing because we couldn't be somewhat at peace with just life. And living by the dollar has formed this way of life that's going to be an endless conflict and contest. I feel we really need to start changing a way of life. I express this quite often throughout my messages in the last year. And change our way of life and evolve as a people. We have to want to, I think. We just passed the changing of the clocks. Today's the 13th. So here we are, and I don't agree with the changing of the clocks. This is something else that's built around money for the most part. I think agriculturally, at one point it was supported to one degree or another, not heavily, and I think it's kind of lost its traction on that, on a lot of levels of life now. And at one other point, supported by the grid. I'll never do really good with the money factors in life, but I would wonder how much of the grid is gained from that and then lost, or however we decided to put a dollar on that. That's always going to be so unfortunate to me that we put a dollar on so much. As I watched the senator from Rhode Island recently, and it's like 191 or more. I can't remember, like just hundreds, dude, of times he's gone before our government. Sheldon, if the skits, like the information I use is just what I get off of my YouTube. Quick little hits, and, he brings up his little graphs on his bulletin thing, and it sounds like he's been doing this for a long time. And we're way behind the mark that has been set for us by our scientists. I watch some of this stuff and I support it, For my kid, I show her the newsroom clip with Jeff Daniels doing the interview with a climatologist, someone who's far beyond just a climate guy. I mean, it's unfortunate that we don't believe some of these people, and we're still as a society at a different point of view on this. And then to see, just like yesterday, day before, whenever the clip was from, as Sheldon, from the senator from Rhode Island, speaks, about how far behind the mark we're falling, and we're running out of choices. I wonder why we've decided to disregard so much of the information that has been presented to us, and we've decided to argue so hard and so heavy. And when the numbers show that if we don't change, things might not change back, and as a society, we really have discarded all of our hopes in some of our people and their ability to understand and project models. And now we even have assistance from computers, and some of it's going to be AI generated, too, and it's projecting worse outcomes on some levels than has been imagined before. So all I can say is I applauded him on the news channel I seen that clip on. I applaud your effort. It is unfortunate that we live in a society that is beholden to the dollar, basically, is what I said. And we as a people need to want to change the way of life. We need to evolve. Our children are depending on this. And if we're wrong, I mean, what did we really do that was bad except for care long enough to find out that we're wrong? But it's going to take a long time. That one gets to me pretty heavy, so I try to express that I'm not sure about all that science. Not exactly, but I do see throughout the history of water and what little I get to study at times, and what I do put into it and get out of it, is we as a society, in the way that we develop the planet and the way we develop areas, we are beholden to the dollar. That is terrible for the future of the planet. And how we, quite often in so many conversations, you don't include the animals and the plants. That's always going to be something for me. I'm bewildered by it. I've written so much that supports the fight to change. The willingness amongst us to stop being holding to the dollar. Like I heard recently, the three people in the United States, the richest people, Musk and Bezos, and I'm imagining the third has got to be Bill Gates, but it might not be. Maybe it's somebody else. The Oracle's not going to be far behind. But they have more money than the bottom half of the population of the United States, and it's not their fault. This is where it needs to stop too. It's not their fault. It's a way of life that's been developed. People that don't mess stuff up are not even really applauded. We should be given so much for some of us that have used so little through our life, energy, and expended so much less carbon. And now that's going to be their new, that's what the Senator Sheldon was saying. That's going to be the new big hope, is that carbon tax. And I still say no. We're going to lose. But for the history of people, for the most part, so many of us that worry, that are poor, and we go bill to bill and week to week and all that stuff, how terrible to know in the end you used and wasted so much less than some of the rich people. And you've contributed so much less on a carbon footprint level to the damage of our planet. There's so much to be talked about like this, but I got to bring this up, and then I'll quickly weave in a little. Last month was was Black History Month. This month is Women's Month. Okay. To me, both of you were slaves at one time or another. And the women, yeah, you might have been accepted within the home, but you were, for a great part of our history, we didn't really spend a lot of time educating one another, nor did we spend a lot of time even having any kind of desire to see a different point of view as a species, other than the one point of view that meant more, faster is the best. And along that big trail of doing that, you failed to educate so many people. So therefore, in the history of quite a bit of us, the women were quite often, maybe you're shunned for not having the ability to keep up with certain conversations. Well, of course you couldn't. Because your view of life is quite a bit different, and you aren't even allowed to vote. Your civil liberties as born. I mean, I had a kid, she's popped in. Imagine being born, dude, and just being like, oh, damn, I got the wrong parts. Oh, I didn't. That'd be terrible. Dude, wouldn't that be bad? How as a society that we have evolved, is that how it happens? For a long time it did, because I'm stronger and whatever I say goes. And for the same thing of somebody that was born with color. But you don't realize it as you're born. It's not until you're older. Oh shit, I'm the wrong color. Oh damn. You know what? This however it turns out, the history is there. I won't deny any of it. It's real. But now almost the sad thing is, as some of those people, I will call them those people of color, women, have started to find the playing field balanced just a little bit for you, I'm going to be asking you to stop desiring the way of life that has been encouraged for so long, where money and power and all that leads the way. A way of life where you take care of yourself and your own at all costs, and you're number one. And if you have a business, people that are employed by you are nothing more like rental cars at times. You pay for the rental car, the car works. If the car breaks down, you get rid of it and you get a new car. However you want to see that is actually how life has happened for a long time. And we have made ourselves into like robots one way or another, and now here comes the robots and the AI and stuff that will be replacing many of us that have not lived up to the robot, criteria, let's say, or the level of achievement that some of the bosses need to see, the numbers they need to see. So they will, and we already have throughout our history, replaced many times. It's just something to look at, and for the achievements and those of color and women, I stand behind all of it. I really do, the best I can. Even if I haven't had great luck with women or something, I tell the child, as much as I can for the idea of, it's not that I had good luck or bad luck with women. I'm single right now, and I'm not afraid to say it, but just you need to see that we're the same. Like I tell her, dude, you're not from Venus and I'm not from Mars. We're from Earth. That's a bunch of bullshit to me. You might feel different. You might have different certain hormones and, different releases of some of the chemical balancing. But for the most part, we're from the same planet. And we need to get on the same page, all of us. That's going to be very beneficial for the future and any hope of a future. I feel, for the way we've been going and what the scientists are telling us. I think all that's going to be really important for our future. All of those ideas and things and feelings and a way of life that's going to change. Or I don't see a way that we as a species really makes it. But I'm sure the numbers are supported by somebody else with better credentials. But you don't even have to be like a big mathematician to think like 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago, right? They're telling us to change the way of life for the benefit of our children in the future, and we don't. A little over 20 years ago, right, when we have a chance to change and we have a chance to make them numbers work for us, right? We're at 6 billion. And now we're already over 8, we're at 8 billion, now we're over 8 billion, wherever you're at. It's just the numbers are terrible. To not see it and to not want to see life and reality for what it is. And we need to change. Why do so many programs get written? I've asked before about this, all the advertising and all this stuff. Why do we need so many different, why isn't there a streamlined way to do it where there's so much less waste? Why do we do things just to create more problems in order to fix the problems? Why has it always been so faster, more? The number one, reach the top. What for? There's nothing there. We are it, each other. Why aren't we voting whether AI comes to life or not? Why is it just made to be? Why does so much get pushed onto us so quickly and so fastly? And we are unable to even defy it. So if you've normally throughout your life done like a little written report and it's carbon copied, and you can say it's to save the planet, but I'll say BS on a big deal, on one level or another at times. Some of it's legit, some of it's not. Okay, but like to just deny people to be able to turn things in on paper. Everything's made to change. Now you have to have a computer. Now you have to have a communication device where you're able to be reached 24/7. Certain things, just the grind. I put it in my song. I mean, have you? Where are you going in such a hurry? Words in my song. Where are you going? Did you see the finish line? We've been racing in our history of our people so hard and so fast as if we're running out of time. And our children are going to be left to worry. This is not anything different than what I'm saying, man. And to see him try and put $1 on the idea that we're going to fix our environment through money, I'm very disappointed. Because that has never worked. We have to want to change. I really believe that, and that's wild, man. 3 people in the United States, because I know for the most part, most people are like bewildered by the idea and any thought process that doesn't involve money. But to me, because like then you'd say like socialism and communism. But if we as a people of a republic of the United States of America voted to change a way of life because we thought it would be better for our children, how do you label it as communism? How do you dare label that as socialism? How do you dare put a label on any of it when you have decided there is a course of action that needs to be taken in order to secure the future for our people? And that we truly look at a way of life where this competition has done nothing but divide us. There's one thing to compete for sports, but to compete for all these other things and create so much waste. How many of you have ever really looked at some of the pictures of the waste product that is left after one day, man? You could go to one Starbucks and just see how many plastic containers, how many of those you think get recycled in one day, just one Starbucks. And then just imagine, get the little figure you would. All I'm saying is, man, we got to want to save ourselves as a people. We got to want to reach out to one another. And I just don't see it probably ever happening. That's really unfortunate. It's not about electing totally the right president. It's about us wanting to do something different. In accepting the fact it's gonna have big changes on a way of life, but maybe the future for the kids and the future of the planet and everything that's living on the planet benefits. And you start seeing the real beauty of life. All around you, everything lives. Everything thrives. It's not that way right now. We make terrible decisions for money. From where I live in the Southwest, I'll never stop beating the drum. I cannot believe what I've seen. It's for money. It's nothing else. But I dared somebody to shout back, give a hit back, something, but I won't stop trying to at least make music and words. And I got that new song that I put out recently. We got to be better than the things, than the bad things. And that's going to be like the fact for a lot of people, man, that have been suppressed for so long. We got to be better than the bad things that have been done to us, and bad things we've seen, and bad things we've done, bad things we haven't seen, bad things that haven't been done, the bad things that have been said, the bad things that are yet to be said. We got to be better than it. The kids are... That's it, man. And it's not just our children. It's everything that lives. We have put this planet in such unbalance, man. Through our direct interaction with the way of life that exists on the planet. We have to take responsibility for our actions. I applauded that message the guy gave yesterday, or yesterday or the day before from Rhode Island. If you look it up, it's recent, apparently, unless I got the date wrong, but it looked recent. And he's been beating that drum for a long time, and so many of them do. And they come to you with the money, the carbon tax thing. Just listen to it. Listen to the newsroom with Jeff Daniels doing a climate interview with someone that happened years ago on that show, so many years ago. And the reality is some of the scientists really have tried. I think some of them are very bitter about what we're doing. And do you really think it's just because we want to take down the oil companies as a people? I don't know, because I'm not trying to take down an oil company. I just want the way of life to be balanced out, and we don't. We're not balanced. We're taking everything on the planet. The numbers are staggering. They're terrible. And you can find some numbers to support a positive moment, but dude, when everything's lost, you cannot support life without vast amounts of habitat. There's so many levels of this we need to talk about. I've tried. I'll keep trying. And I'll keep hoping, I guess, but it seems a little hopeless at times. We do what we can. It's unfortunate the way it's done, and it's not like Bezos and Musk's fault, and some of it is on some of the computer stuff, because I wonder how much of this we really voted into our lives. How much of this did we agree would take over our lives? How many of us, people, said, yes, I would like electronics to take over everything, artificial intelligence, all of it? Did any of us really get to vote? How often are we really asked? How many programs and how many links and all this stuff are changed all the time so some other company can make their money too, or open up a new avenue to share a message, and you had one link before, now you got to go over to this other one. It's maddening, I think, at one point or another. And then just think every day how much of your life you have spent trying to make money, and how deeply rooted it is into our society and our way of life now. Without it, you will not survive. How many people on this planet don't think like some people that have made a lot of money? And we're not willing to compromise so many people's days, and we don't compromise certain situations. Maybe we don't make certain decisions at certain moments. Are we lesser of a person if we really have feelings inside and a good intelligence and a way of thinking and sight? Are we really that less? We're able to comprehend so many different conversations and so many different angles of viewing the reality of life and stay in the conversations, and yet we're just not as well off. Is it because so many didn't try hard enough? Did you really just not? Because I think for some you really have. It's the way we measure ourselves against life. We don't measure ourselves as how well we're doing for one another. It's how well you're doing for yourself. How well you did for your little home. And then maybe a little bit of that trickles out of there. But that's why we're divided as the poor and the middle class. And we're not united. Because we have not demanded. We don't get together in that big voice. It's hard to. You would think it'd be better with the new communication devices and all that stuff, but some of us are even compromised through that use of that. I just don't always understand it myself, so I don't know how vulnerable we are. Deaf ears is usually what I reach, but this is something that needs to be looked at. I think many conversations could be had. I try to express it through my messages and through my music and look for a greater future for us, man. You know? Peace. Hey, spring solstice is coming. You've heard me say it before. I think we should celebrate it. Spring's gonna start for us. We're gonna start favoring the tilt is gonna start the axis of the planet will start favoring for summer the northern hemisphere, and the southern hemisphere is about to go into fall season. So for me, that's a big thing because for life itself on the planet, before we decided we're just going to change everything, was really balanced by all of these moments that we experience every year. There's 4 of them, the solstices, and a lot of that. And then there's other things in between I'm not entirely specifically sure of, but I'm aware of these moments. And that'll be coming up around the 20th of March, right? I don't have a calendar right now in front of me, so I don't know which day they pegged it as. But conversations to be had, and dare to say something back. Peace.